Hi, my name is Steve Coffey, and I'm the Information Security Officer for my local municipality. And I'm also the Deputy Drone and Robotics Coordinator for our public safety drone slash UAS program. My favorite word, I asked my wife and my friends what I should put, and I don't think I can say what they told me I should put down, but I guess if I had to pick a work appropriate one, it would be relentless. You know, that's a word that I hold very near and dear, and that's how I present myself, and that's how I attack life, and that's what I look for in people that I want to work with or hire or have around me in a professional space. So I made my course for beginners and professionals alike. The beginners, the people that are new to cybersecurity, new to pen testing, they're going to get a general overview of drones and a general overview of some of the common attack vectors, the common things that we might see, but they're not going to have a full understanding on how to do that just yet. Now, the advanced people, they're going to have the know-how on some of these different attacks that you could do with or without a drone. And what I'm hoping to get for them is just the perspective of how can I use a drone or a different robot for that matter to help affect what I'm trying to accomplish. The advice that I would give to a new person or somebody just getting into it is to just stay curious. That's that's really it. There's a lot that you can learn. There's a lot that you can do, and there's so much that it's hard to just pick one spot and start navigating that. So I've found, and maybe it's just me, but the more curious I am, the more I'm looking, the more exploring I'm doing, the more things I find that I want to tackle and I want to try to accomplish. And then, after a few months, I have this great portfolio of things that I've done. And so for a new person getting into this, the first thing I would do is if you can afford it, is get a drone, play around, and get used to flying it and see the capabilities of some of this technology because it really is remarkable. And then as you start to gain, some hacker skills, some penetration testing skills, then you can really combine the two and make some cool stuff happen, as you'll see in the course. I'm tempted to say that a drone would probably find the airport a little bit more exciting than the actual destination. Um, but I guess if a drone had to go somewhere on vacation, it's going to pick, Hawaii or the mountains somewhere where it can really take some nice photos and get some great views because that's obviously what a drone really wants to do. Is it wants to get up in the sky and look at some cool stuff. If I had to give my younger self some advice, uh, I or even any young person for that matter, I would say do the hard work. Um, Especially in today's day and age, there's a lot of people that just don't want to do the hard things or do the inconvenient things. Um, and I've found throughout my life, the more I say yes to things, the more I do, the more opportunities I explore. Um, whether or not those things create an immense amount of work for me or not, that's when really cool things get to happen and experiences and opportunities start to come at you more and more. But things aren't going to come easy and free. You have to do the work to get there. And that's the most important thing that I ever learned was even when you don't want to, even when your bed is too comfortable or the day's already been too long, finding that extra 10% in yourself to do that hard thing, to finish the project or to take that course. Those are the things that really move you forward, at least have in my life, and that's what I tell all of the young people that I come into contact with, especially the college grads, is to do the hard work and show that you're really committed to whatever it is that you're doing. So when it comes to drones and safety, there's a couple of things to pay attention to. There's physical safety, and then obviously with this being a hacking course, there's cyber safety as well. But physical safety has to come first, especially if you are the one operating a drone or are around people who are operating drones. Physical safety cannot be overstated. Some of these aircraft can weigh a few pounds, and their propellers are spinning at incredible speeds. So if it were to fall on somebody or that prop were to hit you or somebody else while it was spinning, it can cause some pretty significant injuries. And so we have to be careful of that at all times. That always comes first. Beyond that, when it comes to cyber safety, having the same proactive defensive measures that you would have at work or at home should be okay. If you have a strong network and strong network security, your network should be okay. The biggest concern that drones add, I feel, to these types of situations is their incredible ability to surveil and to perform reconnaissance. So, if you feel as though somebody's looking in your windows or wants to be looking in your windows, make sure your blinds are closed or your sunroof windows are closed. Basic housekeeping safety measures, and you should be okay around drones. Just remember that they are not toys all of the time, and they are very, very dangerous toys when they are. So if I had to build my ideal drone, I would say it's probably like something small, maybe like a DJI Mavic 3T, M3T, something about that size. I definitely want thermal imaging on it. That's once you have it on a drone, you never want to get rid of it. It's awesome. So I definitely would have thermal plus the regular camera. If I was building this out, I would maybe put another ESP32 board in there just for some Wi-Fi and Bluetooth fun. I would I would definitely want it to have AI and the ability to communicate with me. I think it'd be kind of cool to have a little flying around assistant with me all the time. I think that'd be pretty neat. And then with that, using AI, I would want it to kind of learn and grow with me and figure out what it is that my next step is going to be and anticipate that and then try to help me in all those different ways. Kind of just an all-in-one, well-rounded hacking assistant with propellers, basically. That would be my ideal drone. Well, right now is a very exciting time for drone detection, deterrence, and defense technologies. There's, from what I've seen, and I've talked to a few companies and demoed some products, and we use some here at work. There's a lot of exciting stuff out there in the defense half of the drone world. The unfortunate part is that here in the U.S., where I live, we're very, very limited as to what we can do to defend against drones. We can't touch, we can't disable any sort of a flying aircraft that comes from the FAA. But we can detect, and here at work we have a couple of detection solutions. We've tried a plethora of others, and I've gone across the country to different courses and seen some different proprietary solutions as well. And right now the best way to defend against a drone, at least in the US, is to detect a drone. And that's going to be with image-based detection, whether that's Iris. There's a company called Iris that makes a product that uses image and AI to kind of detect whether or not we're looking at a plane or a helicopter or a bird or a drone that's encroaching our airspace. There's another company that comes to mind, Hidden Level, that uses RF and remote ID to not only detect a drone, track a drone, and sort of predict where it might go as well, and also feed you the information from the pilot. So there's some good, promising technology that's coming down the pipeline. I have one of the myths I've heard the most about, and again, this could be very well country dependent, but here in the U.S., a lot of people feel as though they have the right to disable or destroy a drone that's in flight. There's reports and videos of people shooting at them. People have tried to make their own homebrew solutions for Wi-Fi jamming, and a lot of the times these people end up getting arrested because, like I said, here in the U.S. you can't do it. It's a federal crime. So I think it's important for people to remember, especially people that are going to be taking this course that may or may not be flying drones. Airspace is airspace. As long as you are above something and not physically touching somebody's property, you are in permitted airspace. You get into issues with privacy and spying and things like that, but as far as the FAA is concerned, if you are in uncontrolled airspace, you are okay to fly your drone, generally speaking. So I think it's important to make sure people understand that here in the US, drones, when they're in flight, are considered aircraft, and they have to be treated like such because the potential for injury or something worse does exist if one of these were to fall out of the sky. So yeah, I do have experience in first response. Before I officially moved over to IT, I was a paramedic for a while, and then I was also a firefighter. When I was at the fire department where I worked, I helped bring in drones to the department and got them in use, and then created a mutual agreement with the police department to also create a drone program with them, sort of in unison. So drones in public safety was my initial passion, and my driving force for this. When I was there, I argued consistently that we should be using technology as a force multiplier. And that's because we didn't have a lot of people. We didn't have a lot of hands to do some of the work that we needed to, but a drone made an immense amount of difference. Especially we're in a very water heavy area. We performed a lot of water rescue, and being able to have a drone with thermal imaging in the middle of the night looking at a body of water makes a rescue that much more safe, that much more effective and efficient. So even in my time here with IT, administrating the drone program, I have been a big proponent to try to get not just drones, but additional technology into public safety, because time and time again, if trained appropriately and implemented correctly, technology has great potential to save lives when it really comes down to it. Sure, if businesses or organizations can directly implement AI to bolster their drone defenses, I'm sure that there are companies out there that will have that capability, and the go-getter developers that might create a homebrew solution specific for them. But I know that a lot of these drone detection companies, Drone, Iris, Hidden Level, people who already have these platforms are looking at implementing AI, especially like for example with the image-based detection. Using AI to differentiate between a plane, a helicopter, and a drone, and that can drastically reduce false positives. Using predictive technology in flight paths. If you only catch a drone halfway through flight and you're not entirely sure where it is, and it falls, you don't have a complete flight path. Predictive technology can try to map out what path that drone might have taken and where the controller might have been in relation to it. So AI, I strongly believe, is going to become a very strong part of drone technology, especially drone detection and defense. As the U.S., I think, gets a little bit more clear-headed on defending against drones, as lawmakers start to see the threat that they can pose, I think that this technology will really take off.